especially something designed for women by women. It's rare and it's a beautiful thing.
Full days that they're there. What we're really looking for is self-transformation. And this, when I say that, it's not for, like, we're not targeting women who are...
Somebody today, after listening to this, wanted to sign up and find you guys. Where would be the best place for them to go?
Well, if you can spell it, Walapu Acres, our Instagram.
One of the terms Larissa uses for it is threshold work, because it is all about this sort of, I don't even necessarily want to say transformation, because it's not like you came in one thing and you're going to leave a whole other thing. It's about...
So the Blissful Beings, I'm here with two special guests, longtime friends of mine, Liz Zimick and Iris Fernandez. I'm just so wowed by, they have a new upcoming retreat that they will be hosting for females, mostly to empower females, and Blissful Beings is all about that. So that's why I wanted to have them today. I'm going to pass the mic over to Liz first. She's going to introduce herself, tell her a little bit about what she does and why this is something they want to do together.
Well, first off, thanks, Melissa, for having us both. We're really excited to be here and also talk with you today. So a little bit about myself, and then I'll transition into She Rises New York, because I have to be honest, She Rises New York is a brand new thing that I'm doing, that we're doing together. My actual background, I work currently at Thomson Reuters, and I'm part of their legal business. I'm an executive within their legal business, and I am a general manager running their mid-sized law firm business. So my background historically has been really on the corporate side of things, starting out after college and doing what a lot of people do, which is work up the corporate ladder. You grow, you take on your responsibilities. I've had several different roles across my career, but this pivot that I'm taking, I think just like most people, as I've grown as an individual, whether it be within my career or throughout my life personally, you learn more and more about yourself. So one of the things that fires me up is working with people and really tapping in and getting to know them and helping them really be at their best. Like, that's what makes me excited, even in my corporate job right now, when I have those moments where I get to work alongside someone, help them develop, help them grow, help them be at their best. Like, that is what fuels me. So She Rises came about kind of like most things. It was a little bit random. It was fluid, and it just kind of popped. The idea popped. My family has property in the Catskills in New York, and we've had this property for almost 25 years, and over the last handful of years decided to build a retreat center there. And it's mainly to kind of rent out for people to host retreats. And one of the, kind of on a random day a few months ago, I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, why don't I try and host a retreat? And it kind of evolved from there. And I was like, if I were to host a retreat, what would I be doing? And that's how She Rises formed. I had an idea just like that, and I made a call to Larissa, and I talked to Iris, and Larissa's not on here today, but she's the third person that's part of She Rises New York, and I've known her for 8 years now. She's from Hawaii. She's an incredible intuitive energy healer, and really specializes in this work. And there's kind of a practical sense, I think, as you get to know Iris through this interview and myself, the three of us really offer very different things. Larissa is what you would see as, like, I hate to say this, but like the stereotypical, like, she's incredibly spiritual. She lives on Maui. Like, if you wanted to be that life, like, that's what you'd want, right? Like, and we all don't, and then on my side, I would say, like, where I fit into that is more of like, how do you bring the practicality of living in your fullness in your day to day? Like, it doesn't need to be extreme where all of a sudden quitting your job and moving to Maui and leaving your family. Like, that's not what we're saying. So how do you like merge the worlds together? And Iris kind of contributes to the balance of all of it. keeping
Right.
us all kind of grounded and aware of what's actually going on. So anyway, I said a lot, but that's a little bit about me, how it came about, and I'll pass it off to you.
I'm going to do a quick disclaimer that I apologize if you can hear our baby babbling as he goes down for a nap, as he slowly falls asleep. Well, my background, actually, my undergraduate degree is in archaeology, but I've worn a lot of hats throughout my life. So for the past 15 or more years, I've worked in the world of research, archaeological research, but then eventually I moved over. While I was working in research and occasionally going into the field as an archaeologist, I also worked in events and fundraising. And then in the past 6 years or so, I've sort of brought it all together and worked for the institute that a graduate school of NYU, and I would do all their fundraising, all of their events, and all their communications. So some of the stuff I bring to the table is very practical in terms of literally doing events and communications and things like that. But so Larissa, who Liz was talking about, Liz worked with her as a practitioner, energy healer, guide, for many years. And then when we got together, I started seeing her too. So we sort of all formed our own relationships where we really, as much as Larissa was the practitioner in these scenarios, I think the reason why we worked together and why we decided to take this on, doing this on together, is because we all sort of give and take from each other in contemplating where women are in the world, how women can, sort of break free of themselves, get out of the molds that they feel they've been put in, how they can grow. And I think we all sort of spend a decent amount of time thinking about that philosophically and practically and spiritually, like what happens in life? What does it mean to be alive? What does it mean to grow? What does it mean to be in a community that supports all of that? And I think we're all excited to sort of translate all of our different things into something where women can come in, be a part of a community, and sort of take seriously the spiritual growth necessary to be sane in the world that we're living in right now, which seems sometimes very difficult.
I love that. I think it's so important, especially something designed for women by women. It's rare and it's a beautiful thing. If I were to be a guest at New York Rises, what would a day look like? Or what things would you hope, or tools that I would take away from a day there?
Mm-hmm. I think it's hard to put, and this is going to sound a little bit, maybe a little woo-woo, I guess, but it's hard to put into words, because I think for each person, through the 3 days, full days that they're there, what we're really looking for is self-transformation. And this, when I say that, it's not for, like, we're not targeting women who are broken. Like, this is for women who are ready to really step forward into the fullness of themselves. And there's a lot of power behind that. So I think the outcome that we're looking for is, as we kind of bring them through, we have a whole agenda plan for the weekend, and it might change, it might pivot depending on actual group there, what seems right for the moment. But the outcome of that is for each woman to feel like they're not leaving and feeling like they need to go home and start working on X, Y, and Z. They're not leaving feeling like, okay, I just had a nice break and now it's back to reality. Right. They're not leaving feeling like all these things that kind of typically is what happens, whether you go on a vacation or even if you go to like a spa, right? Like you go, you retreat, you maybe have some self-reflection, you think about how maybe you want to change, you feel a little bit relaxed, and then you're kind of going back into the motions. This is, how do we open you up, crack you open, and help you have more clarity than you've ever had before, and have a little bit of ease into stepping into yourself, so that when you go back into the world, you're at another level of your being. And it's kind of hard to put into words. I like to think of it, when I think of my own self, when I've had different transformations, I think of it, and this is growth, I think. Like, this isn't a women only thing, but just generally with people, the way I think about it is, in my life, like maybe I started here and I was living at a level of here, and I had a life transformation. And at that life transformation, it brought me to a peak of here. And then you kind of go back into the world, and maybe life happens, it gets heavy again, and you drift down a little bit. But your lowest level is never that starting point, because you've elevated, you've grown. And then you go through another transformation and you're up here, and your lowest is never as low as it was before. And I think that, in my mind, I like to think of it that way, because I think that that's what life is. You're growing, you're constantly evolving. And the nuance of what we're offering is, how do we help you live in the fullness and the wholeness of yourself, so you're not sacrificing parts of you to get by, or to do what you think you should be doing, or to grow in a small way. We want you to be growing in a full way.
Larissa, one of the terms Larissa uses for it is threshold work, because it is all about this sort of, I don't even necessarily want to say transformation, because it's not like you came in one thing and you're going to leave a whole other thing. It's about breaking through something to come into your wholeness, as Liz saying, or back to your true self, and into the wholeness of what it means to be you, what you want, not just survival mode and fitting into other people's molds and all that kind of stuff. We're hoping people have these sort of breakthroughs, threshold work, sort of breaking through the door, breaking into yourself, into your fullness, in a way that it's not about a homework assignment to, like, I'm going to do this work every day, but it's once you've done that threshold, once you've broken through that threshold, once you've come into your fullness, it's not something that you ever lose. So what Liz was saying with this, you grow some and you have this big breakthrough moment, and, life brings you down a little, but you're never quite back down there. It's because when you've had this sort of big breakthrough work and transform and come into your wholeness, you can't live any other way. Once you step into that fullness, that's it, you're there. So it's not something about like, you leave the retreat being like, okay, I need to do all of this to find myself. It's hopefully while at the retreat working with Larissa. So there'll be these group sessions. We'll have a lot of one-on-one conversations as well. Larissa has, some things planned that are sort of more getting into like creating and really, visualizing and manifesting these breakthroughs. And sometimes it's more, a session, an energy healing session that Larissa might guide people through. But you leave having done it. You leave having come into your fullness. You leave having had that snap, that breakthrough, that threshold, cross that threshold into your fuller self, where all of a sudden the world is more beautiful, because you're there. You're all of you is there. So you're able to live your life more wholly and more truly.
Amazing. And if somebody today, after listening to this, wanted to sign up and find you guys, where would be the best place for them to go?
Yeah, I think, well, if you can spell it, Wolapu Acres, our Instagram.
I'll make sure to put it in the description.
Okay, yeah, I think Wolapu Acres, and we have links there to check it out, to read more about the actual experience itself. And then also, if you did want to talk with me or Iris or Larissa, you can message us through Wolapu Acres too. But yeah, you'll see the registration links right in our Instagram handle. And you could always reach out directly to us too.
And one of the wonderful things about this is that this is very human centered. So, we really are happy to talk to whomever about whatever their interest is. This isn't some sort of cold registration process that you get in, you pay, and you're there. And so, like, we want to get to know you. We want you to ask the questions. We want to engage with you before, during, and after. So
because there's one, like, I would say one cool thing that this is the different take on it is, if you think about a lot of work that we're like threshold work or anything that we've been talking about, a lot of that usually is one-on-one. Like you're usually going and having a one-on-one session. And what we thought about right now, especially because of where we are in the world, is this, yes, there's one-on-one work. Yes, there's that reflective point within yourself and all that, but there's a community that we're looking to build. So the group of women that you're there with, like you will be sharing meals with, you will be breaking bread with, there will probably be moments where some experience that the person next to you is like somehow that transfers, right? So that is a differentiator. And we think that from a kind of timing standpoint, that feels really right. It also it's new. Like I do think that's a newer concept where, just the kind of that community aspect where, again, like hopefully too, it translates beyond just the weekend and people form lasting relationships with one another too.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely beautiful. So definitely going to leave the link to your Instagram in the description box. I encourage everyone to check it out. So don't forget to click in the description box. Go take a look at what Liz and Iris have developed on the Catskills retreat where they're hosting. It's absolutely beautiful. So check out all their accommodations. The meals are all inclusive as well, if I'm correct.
Yep. Yes.
So definitely take a look, and thank you all for subscribing to Blissful Beings and being loyal listeners. You take care now, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Melissa.